Hello, I like money.
What's going on, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's Pokemon Go video, we're going to be discussing Niantic actually removing the special bonuses in Pokemon Go and also ignoring the player base despite the massive community outrage. So, for those of you who don't know, Niantic is reducing the PokeStop distance as one of the bonuses in both the US and New Zealand. Now, this is going to be a beta test for the next 30 days, so while this isn't set in stone completely, it's definitely not looking good in terms of how Niantic has actually responded to the player base. The Pokemon Go player base has actually gone through and made a petition that got over 125,000 signatures. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, 125,000 signatures on a petition isn't a whole lot compared to the overall Pokemon Go player base. And while that may be true, that isn't the only form of opposition to this change specifically. You've had multiple creators speak out about this, you've had multiple Pokemon Go players definitely make noise on Twitter, tagging Niantic, getting tons of likes and retweets on their posts, but yet we've still just gotten radio silence from Niantic. They have not said a single word in regards to the reduced PokeStop distance. Basically, the current consensus right now is that Niantic just isn't listening to the player base, and again, they have definitely listened to the player base in the past, especially when they've made as much noise as they are making right now, and quite honestly, I feel like this is the most that I've actually seen the Pokemon Go player base speak up and kind of oppose something in Pokemon Go. We recently just had the wrongful bans in Pokemon Go, which affected many legit players, and again, this isn't the first time that's happened. I made a separate video talking about that in case you guys want to hear my thoughts on that, but long story short, yeah, there was a lot of community outrage about that too, and Niantic did actually make a statement in regards to that, but it took quite a bit of time before they actually said something. And, in the past, or more recently, I guess you could say, we also had the Season 8 rewards for Pokemon Go Battle League, in which the Stardust rewards were actually nerfed by about 50%. And that definitely took a lot to get those changes reverted, or I guess put back to the way that they were supposed to be in the first place for the Pokemon Go player base. And I honestly think if Psyonic didn't make a video on it, we may have not gotten those bonuses reverted. But again, the Pokemon Go community had to speak really loudly about that. They had to voice their complaints on Twitter to actually get a response from Niantic. So when you consider the fact that the Pokemon Go player base has actually been speaking out louder about this specific change in Pokemon Go, and Niantic hasn't said anything, they are intentionally choosing to ignore the player base, and they're intentionally choosing to disregard how the community actually feels about it, regardless of the fact that this is actually a really, really good change for the game, and it makes playing the game a lot safer. So yeah, that's currently where we are at right now with everything. Now, I know I'm gonna get comments in this video about people saying like, oh, well, this was expected, the COVID bonuses weren't gonna last forever, and that's true. But they did actually keep quite a bit of bonuses moving forward with the game just because it actually improved the quality of life for the players, and it of course also improved their revenue at the end of the day, which no doubt is the most important thing to Niantic. But why was it so important for the player base? Why was this increased PokeStop distance so important? The increased PokeStop distance range, in my opinion, allowed more accessibility and less trespassing. And reverting it back is just going to make it so much harder for players to get to PokeStops, especially if there's a Pokemon there, and reach it within range. So yeah, it just makes the game a little bit less safe, despite the fact that Niantic has said that this is going to make the game more safe in regards to COVID. Yeah, like that specifically will make the game a little bit more safe, I guess, if you're not interacting. But, here's the kicker, right? Here is the kicker. Niantic actually kept the gym distance the same and the remote raid distance the same. So here's where the logic honestly doesn't make sense to me. So for the PokeStops, right, just to spin the PokeStops or lure them up or whatever, get Pokemon spawns around them, Niantic thought that it was a good idea to remove that bonus, but they thought it was a good idea to keep the gym distance the same, basically how we've had it for like the past year, and the remote raid distance the same. Why is that? Well, it's fairly simple. It's money related. I mean, there's no surprise there. Of course, this game is a business. I don't think anybody has any complaints with Niantic operating as a business, but this is extremely greedy, and again, going back to what I was previously saying, the PokeStop reduction in terms of distance, that was a quality of life improvement with little to no downside. And while there may be an argument in terms of their sponsors just not liking this change because it means that they probably won't come to their store more often, I think that you're just going to decrease the motivation for Pokemon Go players to even play in the first place, and that's probably going to hurt the game and hurt their sponsors more than this reduction in distance. But Niantic doesn't see it that way, and clearly the Pokemon Go player base has spoken out about it. but they're still just going with their corporate level management and, you know, kind of ignoring all of that and just doing whatever they think is best. Whatever they think is obviously the best choice here, which clearly, based on the responses, it definitely is not. Overall, the communication, when it really comes down to it, like, there is very little communication. Like, we've obviously struggled with this in Pokemon Go for the past 5 years. Niantic is honestly awful at communicating with the player base. They've had moments where they've actually communicated quite well, but it's like once in a blue moon, to be honest. It is really just once in a blue moon. And the way that they've been coming off lately is that they just don't care about the Pokemon Go community. They don't care about the player base. Obviously, with the wrongful bans against legit players, like the biggest ban wave that we've actually seen, like the biggest false ban wave, I should specify, that we've ever seen in Pokemon Go, it took them days to respond to that. Pokemon Go players that are legit are still banned to this day. Like, I still get tagged about it, guys. I still get tagged from players that still haven't gotten their account back, despite Niantic saying that they were going to revert the bans on legit accounts. There are many legit players that are still affected, that are still going to get stuck out of their account. And what are they supposed to do about it? They were playing the game completely normal. So yeah, we still have to deal with that on top of everything else that's happening right now. The fact that so many legit players are still wrongfully banned, and I know what that's like to go through. You know, I've had people reach out to me and say, like, if there's anything I could do about it. I'm like, I can't do anything about it. You know, the best you could do is just appeal the ban, hope that you get through to somebody, and, you know, fingers crossed from there. But honestly, there isn't anything I can do. I'm speaking out on your behalf at times. I try to, you know, spread this information out as much as I can as a YouTuber, and the fact that I've grown my platform, especially since the time that I got wrongfully banned. So I'm doing my best to help you guys out in that way. But in terms of getting through to Niantic, in terms of getting your account back, there is nothing that I can actually do about that. And I know this isn't going to stop some of you from just asking the same question in my videos or reaching out to me on Twitter, but I'm just telling you right now, like, there isn't anything I can do about it. Niantic is really just dropping the ball on everything right now. We have the reduced PokeStop distance, which is just going to be a huge detriment to the game in terms of quality of life. And we also have the wrongful bans. And, you know, those two combined together, I feel like those two individually, like, they would have been bad, right? They would have been bad by themselves. But now you have the combination of these two on top of everything else, right? Like the unbalanced aspect of PvP currently with extra large Pokemon, and on top of the lag, right? And you also have all the raid issues that have been going on in game for like the past 3 to 4 years. So yeah, like combined with everything together, this is not good for the Pokemon Go player base. Like people are actually hitting their breaking points. I've seen numerous posts about people saying that they're going to spend less money on this game. Now, of course, this is what people are saying right now. From what I've seen playing the game for the past 5 years, people will say this and then turn around and do the complete opposite when a new legendary comes out or a new shiny comes out, or if it's good for PvP. They're going to rate it extensively. They're going to get the extra large candy. They're going to try to get the shinies. And so despite them saying now that they're going to spend less money on the game, give it some time, we're going to see if that actually plays out. But from what I've seen, unfortunately, I don't know how accurate this is going to be, right? Just because people will say one thing, turn around and spend a bunch of money because they want a shiny. So at the end of the day, I really don't know what's going to happen. I still think, you know, the best way to get your message across is to spend less money on the game or spend no money on the game. I've been free to play since the very beginning, so I haven't spent any money on the actual game. Like, I don't buy Pokecoins or anything like that. I'd get all my coins through gyms, and that's it. So, you know, you could follow what I've been doing. I have plenty of videos on the channel that can help you do that. At this point in time, I know a lot of players are definitely going to want to spend less money on the game, and it could be a good opportunity for me to get some of my content out there, because this is basically how I've been playing for the past 5 years. So with that being said, though, let's see what else we need to talk about here. There are some positive changes despite everything going on. There are some positive changes. So despite all of the negative bad news, we definitely do have some decent bonuses here. So we're going to get guaranteed gifts from PokeStops despite not being able to reach most of them. So that's kind of an incentive, I guess, to go out and, you know, grind a little bit harder, walk around more. I'm not really sure. In addition to that, we're also going to get 2 free raid passes a day, basically just the orange passes. They're not remote raid passes, so you can't remote raid with them, but this is definitely a good change. As a free-to-play player myself, I'm very happy about this. I think this is fantastic. I'm going to be able to do 60 raids a month potentially, right? Just off those free passes alone, not including any passes I buy with my Pokecoins as I earn them. And then, of course, we're also going to get 10 times experience on new PokeStops spun. So these bonuses are good. Honestly, I feel like if they didn't reduce the PokeStop distance and maybe they just didn't give us guaranteed gifts or whatever, I would have been okay with that. And yeah, I think that's essentially everything that I needed to talk about. I just want to give you guys some of my thoughts in regards to everything right now. I mean, I've kind of given you my thoughts, but just I guess, a wrap up here. So what do I think is going to happen moving forward? So first of all, I do think that this is going to get reverted, or at least it's not going to stick. I mean, the community has spoken up about this. I think Niantic may wait until the beta is over in the US and New Zealand to kind of make the change. I'm pretty confident, guys. Like, I'm fairly confident that they will do something about this. Like, I was confident they were going to do something before this beta happened, but I was wrong about that. I guess I was just a little bit too optimistic. Just given the community and how they've spoken up, I just feel like Niantic can't ignore this. They literally cannot ignore this at this point. And you have tons of creators speaking up about this. You have almost every single creator, opposing this change. And usually that doesn't happen. Like, usually there is a split somewhere in terms of, some creators understanding why they're doing this. But when you additionally combine the wrongful bans that have been happening for legit players lately, like, creators are definitely speaking out more than I've seen them speak out in the past. So it's a good thing. When I woke up today and I saw everything that was happening on Twitter, I thought to myself, like, man, I really need to make a video on this. Like, I really gotta break this down and share my thoughts and just hear what everybody else thinks about it. And of course, like I said, those are my thoughts right now. I do think that these changes will eventually get reverted just given the community outrage. At the current time of the game, like, we're at an all-time low in my opinion, just because of the wrongful bans plus the reduction in PokeStop distance. Like, this couldn't have happened at a worse time. So yeah, it's just, things are not looking good for the game, but hopefully, we can only go up from here. There is a cycle that Niantic does tend to follow. Like, they do something completely ridiculous, and then they fix some of it, and then the player base thanks them, and then we go back to normal, and they do it again, and this is literally like this cycle that Pokemon Go goes in. And unfortunately, that's just what it is. But of course, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know how you're feeling about all this. Let me know if you think these changes should have been reverted or if they shouldn't have been reverted. I'm personally obviously against this, and I really think that the increased distance just provided a more safe way to play the game. With these old changes being reverted back into the game, players are not going to have to go a little bit further to actually access certain PokeStops and get certain Pokemon, which may lead to more trespassing, which may lead to more problems for the game itself. But again, we'll see what happens in the future. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Of course, if you guys could like and share this video, I'd really appreciate it. It would also help get this video out there to anybody who obviously needs to see it. So yeah, definitely encourage you guys to do that if you can. Subscribe if you want to see more Pokemon Go videos in the future, and I will see you all real soon in the next one.